Nigeria is looking to leverage soil science to improve the country's food production or output, even as the Food and Agriculture Organization, or FAO, warned in its latest report that the world is currently at a critical junction in terms of food supply and nutrition. My guest on this is African Farmer Mogaji, the CEO and founder at Farmcredit.ng. A good evening to you, African Farmer. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Good evening.
Thank you very much. How important is science, technology, and research in raising Nigeria's agricultural output and the overall development of that particular sector?
Well, without science and technology, we're going nowhere. Science and technology helps us to improve on what we have, helps us to be able to plan, to be able to take decisions, gather data, which is what you plan with. So we can do without science and technology. The advanced countries developed based on data, and technology plays a lot of play in that.
Science. Speaking about science, talk about soil science and why is it crucial in terms of what your output really is as a farmer.
So bottom line is that soil is like the heart of a human being. Without the soil, you are doing nothing. You are going nowhere. So when we're talking about livestock, livestock is totally dependent on crops, and crops depend on soil. So the soil is the most important in the agri value chain, because whatever your value chain, whatever value you're adding to the table, without the soil, and I can tell you quite a lot of soils are sick, but they're looking okay.
Give me your outlook on this from Nigeria's Institute of Soil Science and the Ministry of Agriculture now put a governing council together. Are we mainstreaming, have we started to mainstream soil science in our agriculture in Nigeria?
Well, we'll give it to the minister and his team, because we've not heard anybody talk about soil in a while. And so when investments go into the soil and the soil is sick, the output is also not good, which makes the investments go down the drain. So we give it to them. It's a step in the right direction. People don't talk about soil. So if you have like malaria now, you're sick. So you need to fix it. So the bottom line is Nigeria is moving in the right direction by focusing on not just soil, but the science around it.
But we have good soil, arable lands. We can see that everywhere. So what do we need soil science?
So bottom line, because the soil is dark or is rich, looks rich, does not mean it doesn't lack some small nutrient like calcium now. If it lacks calcium, your corn can be strong and big, and it's coming down. Lack of calcium will not make your tomato crop stand. But calcium is required in small quantity. Boron, magnesium, everything the human body needs. However small is deficient, then the body is not okay. So the soil is crucial, and it's the way to go, and it's often not spoken about.
So in terms of food supply, adequate and very rich outputs, what do we need to, when we talk about soil, 99% of folks will talk about just add fertilizer and you're good to go. Is that it?
So you see, many a times we overburden the soil with fertilizer. Sometimes the soil does not need what you call the NPK, which is 95% of what we put into the soil. The soil may just need you to spend maybe 10,000 naira, and you are loading the soil with 160,000 naira worth of fertilizers. So many soils don't need, so you have the NPK 15, 15, 15. Some soils just need the N or the P or the K. So we overload it, and so the soil becomes toxic. So we just need to bring back the science of soil, where, in fact, the way it should be is after every season, like rainy season and dry season, after every season, you must test your soil to know which nutrients the crops have taken and the nutrients to replace. We've not been doing that for years, and I believe with this new development, our productivity should, really increase.
A very critical report just released by the Food and Agricultural Organization shares the world is at a very critical juncture in terms of hunger and malnutrition and so on. Is there a serious concern around this for Nigeria?
Oh, yes. There's a clear and present danger for Nigeria vis-a-vis post-COVID and potential floods that has been predicted by NIMET and the release of waters from the dams. What that means is that many states, many crops, some crops like corn, like millet, like granules and coal, will be affected. So what that means is we may not be as sufficient as projected because of the floods and the rain. And so it gives a bit of a concern for 2022.
What does that mean for the planting season? How can we mitigate this?
Well, so what the government needs to do and the private sector needs to do, for government, we need to focus on the river basin. I always emphasize that. We need to reduce farmers planting like tomatoes in this dry season to do more rice and other crops, to diversify a bit. And we need the private sector to collaborate with government and not try to do something new. Don't forget, 2022 is the year preceding elections, and it brings this dynamics into the agribusiness sector. So we need to pay attention to some collaborations now. Government can't do it alone again, it's very clear, and the private sector needs government now. So there needs to be a renewed marriage, so to speak.
In terms of what you're hearing, just to wrap it up, African farmer, where are we on insecurity and agricultural output?
Well, it's actually dropping, it's reducing now. So I actually feel that the dry season farming would take care of some of the shortfalls we've had during the rainy season, but things are getting better. There are pockets here and there, but yes, we're getting better.
Okay, well, let's leave it on a very hopeful note that things are getting slightly better. Thank you very much, at least the battle against insurgency, militancy, banditry, and what have you. Thanks for speaking with us tonight on this very important issue. African Farmer Mogaji, CEO Farmcredit.ng. See you next time.